This is the Greg Bedard Patriots Podcast with Nick Cattles.
Hey everybody, welcome into the Greg Bedard Patriot Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. And also take the guesswork out of buying MLB or even NFL tickets with the season rapidly approaching with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. By the way, they have all sorts of tickets, including concert tickets, and there are a ton going on this summer, so make sure you get over there and check them out. Welcome back in, everybody. I am now back home. It has been a long couple of weeks and continues to be. If you didn't listen to the last couple episodes, basically I am in softball and baseball travel ball hell every week. I love it. I love watching the kids. I love being out on the field, but it also makes for a very busy summer, but really wouldn't want it any other way. And sorry, it's been a little bit of a minute. I meant to do another podcast while I was out in Denver, but the days were long. It was a tough setup, and I really didn't want to do that to you guys. So I decided to wait till I got back. And so what we're going to do next couple days, today and tomorrow, I'm going to do sort of two-part episode on my initial 53-man roster projection that I did for Boston Sports Journal on Monday. So we're going to talk about the offense today. Then we're going to talk about the defense tomorrow. Nick is on vacation. Hopefully he'll be back next week. I'm also hoping to get Aaron Schatz from FTN, formerly of Football Outsiders. He just came out with his must-read every year, his football almanac with all the old Football Outsiders guys. And I want to talk to him about the Patriots. And what's interesting is that he is right in line with my prediction, which is 7 wins for this team. And their simulations came out. On average, the Patriots average 7.1 wins, and that's where I've been. So I want to talk to Aaron more about his reasoning behind that. I know he's high on the defense. We'll see how that goes. But for now, we'll delve into the Patriots in a second. First thing I wanted to talk about was I just got done watching it. I've had a lot of questions in my BSJ members chat the other day about it. It's the new Hard Knocks, sort of off-season Hard Knocks version with the New York Giants. And the Patriots are mentioned a couple of times, and we'll get into that, and I'll give you my impressions. But in general, sort of after watching the first 2 episodes, I guess my main takeaway would be that I really like the content. It's different, something different than the in-season or training camp version of Hard Knocks. I love this stuff, the front office, the people that really craft the team, what they do from area scouts to the GM and free agency and the whole offseason puzzle. So I find it really interesting. And the kind of stuff that we don't get access to. Obviously, talking to people around the league, and now that we're through this draft and this offseason, it's interesting to see where the information that I got from league sources going into the draft, going into free agency, all that stuff, how it sort of marries up with what you see behind the scenes. So that's been interesting. But I got to say, my biggest takeaway from this, and let me first say that I have a great deal of respect for Brian Daboll. He's a guy I go back a ways with. I think he's really good at what he does, and I think he comes off as Dabes in this. Joe Shane, the GM of the Giants, is somebody that I have a lot of respect for. I have no relationship with him. I just know from afar, from watching what he did in Carolina, what he did in Buffalo. I think he was with the Dolphins for a short time. I've always been impressed with the way he came up. And they talk about that early in the first episode, how he basically has done every job. He came up the right way, didn't skip any steps, wasn't in a rush to get anywhere. And I've always been, from afar, I've always been impressed with his career and what he's done. I will say that my big takeaway from watching the first 2 episodes is I was kind of underwhelmed by Shane and also the Giants front office. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I just, you figured you'd be blown away by these guys, about how smart they are, about the things that they say, about how they analyze things. And really at the end of the day, I don't know. A lot of the conversations they had sounded like a lot of the conversations we have, whether it's here in the podcast or on the radio or just as fans. I was sort of underwhelmed with the decision-making process. And I don't know, maybe I had a high bar. But I will say this, because I was thinking about this earlier. And look, people are on television. They might not be the same. I'm sure I don't come over great on the radio, but maybe I'm a lot smarter, or sound a lot smarter in person. Say we're just having a conversation, something like that. But, what I was thinking about was comparing the Giants and sort of their setup. And I don't really know some of the particulars, some of the people below Shane. I don't know a lot of those people. Dennis Hickey, I am familiar with. He worked with the Dolphins. He worked with the Saints. Long career. But I was like, those people are really young. Maybe I'm just getting old. But outside of like Hickey and a couple other veteran guys in the front office, they came across really young. And I compare that to the Patriots. And, I've known Elliott Wolf for years. I've known Alonzo Highsmith for years. I've known Pat Stewart for years. I know Macro a little bit, and some of the other people in the Patriots scouting department. And I don't know, maybe I'm biased, but I just think the Patriots are in a lot better place as far as a personnel department than, say, the New York Giants. I think that Elliott Wolf knows exactly what he wants. I think that Alonzo Highsmith certainly has been through it. Pat Stewart has been through it. Those guys, I know, have a vision and are going to execute it and know how to do it. Whereas it seemed like the Giants are sort of fumbling around. They're not exactly sure what direction they want to go, and they're not sure about the market. They're not sure about this. They're not sure about that. And I don't know. My impression, if I was a Patriots fan watching this, I would feel really good about where the personnel department is, let alone all the things that these people, especially Pat Stewart and Matt Groh and Elliott Wolf and other people, learned from Bill Belichick, who we all know has seen it all and done it all. But I don't know. I feel a lot better about where the Patriots are in terms of their front office and their rebuild than where the Giants are. I mean, they can't seem to decide, like, do they have a lot of confidence in Daniel Jones? Do they not? Do they want Saquon Barkley? Do they not? What are they going to do with Xavier McKinney? Are they going to trade a first-round pick for Brian Burns, which we know they ended up doing? I forget what the final deal was. That will be revealed on the next episode. What are they going to do about the offensive line? It just seems like, and they draft Malik Neighbors at 6. Is that what they really need? Is that the best thing for the Giants? What's the vision for their offense? What's their, I thought it was, I forget the person's name. It's, I want to say it's Tim McManus or something like that. He asked the essential question when they were talking about Saquon Barkley. It's like, okay, if we move on from Saquon Barkley, what's the vision for our offense? How are we going to score points? He was our best player, most explosive player, scored the most touchdowns. Like, what are we going to do without him if we're going to go cheaper at the position? And, Shane's point was, well, we're not paying Daniel Jones $40 million to hand off to a running back. And I don't know. It's all just puzzling to me in terms of what the vision is. So, that was my big takeaway. As far as the Patriots in the episode, they came up a couple times. I'm not sure which order they came in. They were in the same episode at the scouting combine. So Joe Shane sees the Patriots. I guess the Drake May part would have come up first because they met with the quarterbacks. We saw Caleb Williams, we saw Jaden Daniels, we saw Drake May, some of their combine interview with the Giants and with Daboll. And I will say I've seen some of the reaction on Twitter blogs from Patriots fans, and they of course think that the Giants were pants off for Drake May. The reports are that they were. Whether that episode revealed it, I disagree with that. I didn't come across thinking that Brian Daboll was, ready to launch across the table and hug Drake May and make sweet love to him or anything like that. That might very well be the case, but I didn't get that sense from what they showed on the episode. Now, I will say, out of the three quarterbacks that we saw, and we didn't, as far as I recall, we did not see them talking with J.J. McCarthy. No, they did. I remember him writing out the play call. Daboll said something about how long it was. I'd give you one word. I will say that Drake May came across the best, certainly. Very comfortable in his skin. This matches up with the reports that we heard coming out of the combine, coming out of some of the meetings. Drake was very comfortable with what Brian Daboll was putting on his plate. That would be great if the Patriots were still running that same system. They're not. I think the system will be easier for him. But yes, Drake May certainly came across well. I thought he came across the best out of all of them. I thought that McCarthy did a nice job. He would be number 2 on my list. Number 3, I would say there was a drop-off from May to McCarthy. I would say there was a drop-off from McCarthy to Caleb Williams, who came across as unrefined, sort of like a sort of drawn up in the dirt, Brett Favre kind of, I don't want to get lost in the details. I'm just going to hit this guy, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then I thought Jaden Daniels did not come across great, which we've also heard. He kept messing up a play call when Daboll would have him do something else and then come back to it. He still couldn't get the play call right. That's a worry. He came across very quiet, shy, which is part of the draft discussion with Jaden Daniels. So as a Patriots fan, I guess you feel really good about Drake May. Certainly out of the guys that we saw, yeah, I think they got the right guy in terms of being that face of the franchise, can master everything, and now he just needs to grow into it. So those are my initial impressions about Hard Knocks, the show. I definitely recommend it. I'm looking forward to the episodes. Not sure when they come out, but I will definitely be watching going forward. And we are going to take a break, and then we are going to come back and start discussing the 53-man roster projection. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. With the finals over, the hoop action doesn't stop on Prize Picks. Women's basketball is still heating up with stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese looking to make names for themselves alongside greats like Breanna Stewart and Asia Wilson. You could win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out. Just the other day, I took Caitlin Clark for more than 3.5 3-points made, and Breanna Stewart for more than 23 points. Plus, I went over to baseball because you all know I like baseball. Kyle Schwarber for more than 9 hitter fantasy score, and Bryce Miller for more than 4 pitcher strikeouts. It's a lot of fun. You got to get in on this. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Okay, let's get right into it. Let's just start with the quarterback position. So on my 53-man roster, I have 3 on the roster. Jacoby Brissett, Drake May, of course. We know those 2 are on it. Joe Milton, I have on my roster. I have cut Bailey Zappi. Here's my thinking on that. I think that Joe Milton is going to reveal himself, and certainly we've already seen it, way too talented to be left off the roster. I think that somebody else would snatch him up. I don't know if they would put him on their 53-man roster, but they would certainly vie to sign him to their practice squad. And if I'm Joe Milton and Drake May is in my same draft class, and he's the future franchise of the future quarterback of the Patriots, then why would I stick around? Why would I learn this system when he's going to be the guy? Now, certainly there's reasons to do that, but if you have designs on being a guy or being the guy somewhere, you would go to, say, like the Giants or, somebody where the quarterback isn't assured going forward, and you might have a chance, and now you hit the ground running, learning the system. Or else, as an athletic quarterback like Joe Milton is, maybe you go to a place that specializes in those type of quarterbacks. Maybe you go to, I don't know, a Baltimore or a Houston or Seattle, even though they got the Commanders quarterback from last year, who I can picture, but I can't remember his name right now. It's off season for everybody. So I am keeping Joe Milton. They drafted him in the 6th round for a reason. I don't think it was to cut him right away. Elliott Wolf, I'm sure, had a vision of, we're going to develop these 2 guys and see what happens and keep them around. I think he's going to be here. Bailey Zappi, could he be on this roster? Could he be on the practice squad at the end of the day? Yeah, sure. I don't rule that out. But I think the odds are more likely that at the quarterback position, the Patriots release. I don't think they can get anything for Bailey Zappi. I highly doubt that. Release him at some point, could be sooner rather than later. But at some point after the 53-man cutdowns, they will claim or sign some sort of veteran who has experience in Alex Van Pelt's system to be the veteran backup, so to speak. Now, remember, the NFL changed the practice squad rules, emergency third quarterback rules this year. So any quarterback on the practice squad can be the emergency third quarterback every single week. So you don't have to use a roster spot for that guy. And in my mind, we'll see how Drake May develops. Yes, Drake May would be the quote unquote backup to start week 1. Now, let's say Jacoby Brissett gets injured at some point early on in the season. Then what would happen is, so Drake May would come in, finish the game. Then the Patriots would get into a discussion on Monday. Is Drake ready to start for us for an extended period of time? If he's not, then you sign the veteran from the practice squad to the roster and let him start. And Drake May goes to being back to the backup. You just keep doing that. So that's my plan. That's what I think the Patriots are going to do. I don't know that they're going to do that, but we'll have to see. At running back, right now I have 3 on the roster. Historically, and of course this is from the Bill Belichick years, they usually kept around 4, nearly 4.5. So right now I have Ramondre Stevenson, lock. Antonio Gibson, lock. And then the 3rd spot, I have Deshaun Fenwick. Now, I'll just be honest. He's an undrafted free agent. This is a complete guess because I don't even know if we saw him really in the offseason. I know he was dealing with a hamstring injury that the team knew about coming in. they were just fine. They just wanted him to get healthy. I know they're high on him. Now, do I know that Fenwick's going to make it over Jermichael Hasty, Kevin Harris, or Terrell Jennings, who are on the roster right now? No. I'm just giving you my sense. And, could they keep 4? Yeah, they could. That would probably be the smart thing if they find some young running back, and maybe that's Harris, maybe that's Terrell Jennings, another undrafted free agent. I liked what I saw out of Hasty, but right now in my mind, Ramondre Stevenson and Deshaun Fenwick are sort of the same type of backs. Now, Kevin Harris and Deshaun Fenwick would sort of be fighting for the same spot, backup every down back or first 2 down back. Antonio Gibson can certainly do everything at running back, but he's primarily there to be the 3rd down back. So ideally, you would like another young guy. Maybe that's Terrell Jennings if they keep a 4th, where he's the backup to Antonio Gibson. I just know in my experience from covering the Packers, they are not afraid to go with really young green guys at running back, and they make the coaches make it work. I remember the first year I covered the Packers. They had Deshaun Wynn. They had Brandon Jackson, who was an undrafted free agent. I know a lot of people, I get this question all the time too. They're worried about the depth at running back. I'm sure the Patriots are going to be trolling the waiver wires, releases, all that stuff, maybe making a trade, because that year that I covered my first year, 2007, covering the Packers made a deal towards the end of training camp to the Giants for a guy named Ryan Grant, 6th-round pick. I think they traded him for. Nobody knew about him. Nobody had heard of Ryan Grant. Came out of Notre Dame, I think, if I recall. But nobody thought much when the Packers traded for him. And guess what? He ended up being a beast for that team for more than a few years, including, I remember that playoff game in the snow against Seattle, I want to say, where he basically ran for, I think, almost 200 yards. He was unreal. So that's sort of what I think the Patriots are going to do at running backs. Oh, no, I'm not alarmed by the lack of depth or anything. You can find answers at running back, and Elliott Wolf's really good at it, and Alonzo Highsmith is really good at finding running backs. So they will have it figured out. Don't be afraid of young, unproven, undrafted free agents. If they have talent, these guys will keep them and make sure that the coaches develop them. We're going to take another break, and then we're going to be back with one of the more controversial positions, receiver, and we'll get into tight end, fullback as well. Who doesn't love going to an MLB game during the summer, especially with the Red Sox turning things around? The ballpark has always been home to me and my family, and we'll definitely get there at some point, and we'll use GameTime to get us there. GameTime is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the GameTime app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, viewed from your seats, and their lowest price guarantee, GameTime takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. I got to tell you, I've been on the app. I buy tickets. We're going to go to a Red Sox game, I think, in a couple weeks. I went through GameTime. I love how you can see the views from all the seats in the venue. That, especially at Fenway, with obstructed view and all that stuff, that's a must for me. I need to know where I'm sitting. I need to know what the view is. I don't want to be pointed towards center field when everything's going on my right and have to be in traction for the next week. So I love the GameTime app for giving me that view, because I have to have it. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Okay, so receiver, a position everybody loves to talk about. Even when we don't know whether the Patriots can block or throw the ball. But, hey, receivers are sexy. So, let's go through. I kept 6 for now. My 6 are Demario Douglas, Jalen Polk, KJ Osborne, Javon Baker, Jalen Reagor, Kayshon Boutte. cut Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyquan Thornton, Jaquan Jackson, Kawan Baker, David Wallace. And on PUP to start the year, Kendrick Bourne. I have no idea. Kendrick could get cleared during camp. I don't know. This is just a guess. So I will tell you that after Douglas, Polk, and Osborne, I don't feel great about my selections. I don't have any conviction on any of them. Would I be surprised if Javon Baker didn't make the team? I would not be surprised. Jalen Reagor, I would not be surprised. Kayshon Boutte, he has the gambling charges hanging over his head. Now, I will tell you that I reached out to Louisiana law enforcement representatives, and I was told that there have been no new developments in his case since the press release on his charges and his arrest and indictment. So there's been no update. Normally in these things, the NFL doesn't move on these types of situations until there's some sort of adjudication or plea deal or something like that. And I don't think they're remotely close to that yet. So for now, I'm just going with what I've seen on the field. And I think that Baker, draft pick, certainly talented, certainly has his issues. We'll see whether they pop up with the Patriots or not. This is a blank slate now. Certainly should get development and, the benefit of time. He's too talented. Now, is he going to realize that talent? I can't tell you. Jalen Reagor, putting him on here, I will say, one, it's a little bit about special teams. I think he has the ability to possibly be the kickoff returner with the new rules for this team. A little bigger, thicker wide receiver. He's fast. I thought he did a good job as a receiver towards the end of last year. I think he's had a really strong camp to this point, or off season, certainly, through mini camp. I thought he did a really nice job. He was very busy. Kayshon Boutte, similar. I thought he had a very productive offseason. Looks like he's gotten better. Looks like he's gotten a little bit quicker. I think he was dealing with some residual injuries last year. Certainly enough there for me to take a further look. Now, will we be there at the beginning of September? I don't know. But for now, this snapshot, this is where I have them. So those are my 6 that I'm rolling with. And I do think that they are going to err on the side of youth and explosiveness more than anything. And so I think you get that with Baker, Reagor, and Boutte. I don't think you get that with Juju Smith-Schuster. I just don't understand in the grand scheme of things, unless they do think he's a lot healthier and he's going to be a lot better this year. I don't understand how he fits in sort of this rebuild and what you're trying to do. To me, it's all about, trying to develop guys or get guys under contract for 3 years from now, 2, 3, 4 years from now. And Juju just doesn't fit into that. So do you keep, and this goes for a lot of different positions on this team, do you keep a veteran Band-Aid that might make you 5% better? The flip side to that is that person is taking snaps away from a younger player who might be, with more playing time, might be 25% better in a year or two. And so to me, I don't want to waste the snaps on Juju Smith-Schuster because I don't think he's going to help them when the Patriots do become good and do become a contender in a couple years. Tyquan Thornton, look, this is just, he's not on the field enough. And, when he's on the field, he doesn't dominate. He doesn't pop all that much. I'm not giving up on him by any stretch, but this is a snapshot to where they are right now. And I just don't see the reason to keep him around. I don't know if you're going to get anything in trade for either guy. But that's sort of my thinking on that. And the other 3, Jackson, Baker, and Wallace, I don't really know them. We'll see. They'll get a chance to prove themselves, and Trust me, this group in the front office, if you're better than a sacred cow, they're going to keep you. They don't play favorites. They just want to up the personnel on the team. Tight end, I have 3. 53-man average is 4. I have Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper, Jaheim Bell. I cut Michael Petway, Jacob Warren, Mitchell Wilcox. Again, this is another position where I don't have a lot of conviction. We haven't seen a whole lot of all these guys. I will say, I like the glimpses that I've seen out of Jaheim Bell. And I also think he has more positional versatility. He could be an H-back. He could be a fullback if you wanted to do that. I just think there's too much talent there to give up on too early. Now, could he be a candidate for the practice squad? And that might be a better place. Yeah. I will say that, the other 3 tight ends, Petway, Warren, Wilcox, I like what I've seen out of all of them. I'm intrigued by all of them. Could they keep a 4th guy? Maybe, but that might be at the expense of receiver. And I don't know whether I'm ready to do that right now, but, that's the group that I have at tight end and fullback, and I feel pretty good about it. I like Henry and Hooper, 2 good, experienced veterans. Henry's more of an inline guy. Hooper's more of a move tight end. Not that huge difference from any of them. And both of them are not going to blow you away with athletic ability at this point in their careers, but they're good, solid, productive guys, and give the Patriots a good base. Hopefully they'll add talent, young talent. I think of my Packers day and a guy like Jermichael Finley, who was a great athlete and turned out to be a pretty good player till injuries got the best of him. But I like the group. No headliners, but a good, solid group. Just a reminder that this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. And GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, let's dive into the big boys. At offensive tackle, historically, the Patriots have kept 4. 2 starters, 2 backups. I also have 4 on the team as of right now. Chuks Okorafor, Calvin Anderson, Caden Wallace, Vidarian Lowe. I have released Tyrone Wheatley Jr. and Zuri Henry, undrafted free agent. I would like to see more out of Henry. I can't wait for the pads to go on the 4th day, 4th practice. So the Patriots, I was just looking at their training camp schedule. So the first 3 days, it can't be in pads. So they'll go 3 days, they'll take a day off, then they'll come back and they'll be in pads. Hopefully it's not as freaking hot and humid as it has been here. Oh my God, it's been freaking miserable. But as of right now, I would say that Okorafor and Wallace would start at left and right tackle. Anderson would be the swing, and Vidarian Lowe would be the guy that you would try to develop and try to get better. Now, Lowe and Wheatley will both be in their first full camp with the Patriots, full off season. So maybe we might see a little bit more out of them. Of course, this is a new system. Everybody's learning a new system. But I don't think there are any huge surprises in that group. At guard center, historically, the Patriots have kept 5. I have kept 5. This is probably a little interesting, and we'll get into it. The guys that I kept: David Andrews, your starter at center; Michael Wenu, your starter at right guard; Sidy Sow, your starter at left guard; Layden Robinson, the draft pick; Nick Leverett, the veteran free agent. Cole Strange is on the pup to start the season, which I think we're pretty much assured of. We'll see if we see any of Cole Strange this year. I have released Jake Andrews, Antonio Mafi, Charles Turner, Michael Jordan, and Liam Fornadell. Okay, so I don't think any huge surprises on the guys that I kept. I think Layden Robinson as a draft pick certainly stays. Do I think he's going to start? I highly doubt it, but they need to start to develop some interior guys. Nick Leverett is a veteran, positional versatility. I think he can play center a little bit. And as of right now, he's my backup. Hopefully I get all of those guys or most of them on the practice squad. Now, I was asked the question about Jake Andrews. My reasoning for releasing him, no great insight. I have no insight on this. It's just a snapshot where he is. He wasn't on the field very much in the spring. I was not blown away by his film last season as a rookie. Now, we all know the coaching situation last year. It was not good, especially on the offensive line. Certainly, I think Jake Andrews is more of a center. When he did play at guard, I didn't like what I saw. He's very undersized. That's going to be an issue for him. But maybe in this zone blocking scheme, maybe he does fit a little bit better at all three interior spots. We'll have to see how that goes. I'm not giving up on him. Came out with a good profile. Smart, tough. Need to have a backup for David Andrews. So maybe it's Jake Andrews again. Antonio Mafi. Again, I would say I would go back to, I was not impressed with his offseason. Maybe I was too swayed by what I saw out of him having to go to center when Jake Andrews wasn't out there and his snapping wasn't good. I haven't been impressed with his conditioning. He was a project. I still think, even at this point, I think he's more of a practice squad guy that I'd like to develop, perhaps get into better shape, that sort of thing. But again, I'm not totally down on him either. I want to see how he comes back. I want to see him in pads, and we'll go from there. He certainly has his pluses. He's powerful. He's strong. He's built low to the ground. He profiles well, but we need to see it in action. And his game film last year was not overly impressive. Charles Turner and Michael Jordan are two veterans. I don't have a great frame of reference. I could see my decision changing once they get into pads and one-on-ones and all that stuff, but they certainly have a shot to stick. Depending on what they do at backup center, I could see it coming down to Nick Leverett, Charles Turner, Michael Jordan sort of as a veteran spot. Can those guys play center? We shall see. Will they take a look at different guys at backup center just in case? We'll also have to see about that. So that is my snapshot as far as the offense for the 53. So just to give you a recap, I kept 3 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, 6 wide receivers, 3 tight ends, 4 tackles, 5 guard center for 24 on the offense. I kept 25 on defense, 4 on special teams. That's how I got to 53. The next episode, we will delve into the defense. I don't think there are going to be a whole lot of surprises there from anybody, but look forward to see how this changes over the course of time. Can't wait for camp to start. I'm sure you guys are getting fired up. I'm almost there. I can't wait to be out there. Not looking forward to those 11 a.m. practices. It's going to be rough on those guys, but we'll see how it goes for Gerard Mayo and his people. So thanks for tuning in. Sorry for the long layoff. I'm back now, back in the swing of things. Until next time, I'm Greg Bedard.